Hello and welcome back to my channel, and thanks for rejoining me with my solo HeroQuest campaign. Um, the continuing quest to rescue Sir Ragnar. This is part 3. I thought, well, because I had the board all set up, instead of just all putting it down again and then reassembling it, I thought, well, let's just crack on with the adventure. I'd also noticed a couple of errors, and one was quite a glaring one. When the barbarian was in this room here, he was faced by 2 orcs, and for some reason, when I came to the Morker player turn, I completely ignored those orcs. So they would have been 2 attacks, 3 hit dice, 3 dice each. So potentially they could have done 6 points of damage on my barbarian if they had all got hits and he hadn't defended. Yeah, that's a worst case scenario, but basically that was a bit of a lucky escape for him. So I thought the way I can make up for that is potentially, if I roll 1d6, and this is the number of skulls I will add to my little ready Ragnar over here of skulls, and on 5 we trigger a wandering monster, or well, we basically trigger a draw from the treasure pack, which might include wandering monsters. I thought, well, that might be a suitable penalty. Unfortunately, I do apologise for that, because I was trying to go at a deliberate pace, and I just basically almost had a bit of an orc bypass, because I didn't see this orc either. He was, albeit he was hiding behind this door, but these 2 were in plain sight, so yeah, that was really a bit of an error. So let's just try to remedy that as much as I can. I'll put, this is the number of skulls I add on, so I'll add on 2, so maybe not a disaster, and it won't happen again. It's as simple as that. No more mistakes. However, I do have one other to talk about, which was instead of having 2 points of damage against the barbarian in that last attack, I should have had, I only took 1 point off, so I've got another point I need to take away from the barbarian. So he should be down to 6 body, so that's remedied. And also, I shortchanged my wizard a wee bit, because in this room he did use his fire spell, and he basically incinerated one of the orcs, and he didn't get his chance to do his adulation. But it's based on the fact that he almost like cheated death a bit by the fact that those orcs didn't really get a chance to engage. Maybe I can steal his thunder, but ordinarily when the wizard casts a spell and he does stuff, he too can participate in these celebrations. So hopefully I'm back on an even keel now, and there's not going to be any more mistakes. We can just bash on, and the aim of this episode is really to try to see if we can conclude the overall quest, and do it in the space of maybe either 2 to 3 episodes. That would be good for each quest, but it might work out that on average we do between 3 and 4 quests, depending on how involved they are. But let's see how we get on. So we're back to the wizard player. So let's roll. Let's see where our wizard is. He's actually standing outside this room. Now this room hasn't been searched for anything, so maybe there is an opportunity for us to do something. So let's do that. Let's get the wizard in there. So he's got 6. So he'll just move into this room here. And usually the protocol is to search for traps first. So let's see whether he follows that protocol. He's with the barbarian, so he is with another member of the team. So ordinarily on a 1 to, it would have to be a 1 on a d6, and he decides he's going to go against the party line and search for treasure. So he does. So he is going to search for treasure as his thing. So we can draw a treasure card. Oh dear. So wandering monster. So this goes back into the pack, and what we do is we actually shuffle the pack. So it's dangerous. It could come up again. Although there are a lot of wandering monsters and a lot of traps in that pack. So we have a wandering monster, and the Morcar player consults his his little key, and the wandering monster for this dungeon is an orc. So what we do is we get a sufficiently nasty looking orc, and we can place it next to the wizard. So let's have it sneak out. Must have been lurking in the room, and it sneaks out and it goes, right, wizard. You shortchanged my colleagues. You obliterated them with your magic. I'm going to get my own back on you. 3 dice attack. This is what it's all about. So 2 hits. If we look at the wizards, he rolls 2 in defense. So against 2 hits, he needs 2 shields. So what's the wizard going to do? 2 shields. Yeah, they bounce off. They bounce off the wizard. He hasn't got any armor or anything, so he must be probably doing some very nifty footwork. And we'll just turn him to face his opponent. So good on you, wizard. You did well there. He doesn't have any actions left. He's used his movement and he has been searching for treasure. There's nothing left for him to do. So we move on to the barbarian. Now the barbarian, he looks over his shoulder and he sees. He thinks, oh, I thought I got rid of all these orcs, and there's one of them crawling out, and he's attacking my colleague, my friend, that wizard, who did that nice thing to me, and it healed all my body points. I really need to dispatch this guy that's in front of me. That is kind of my preoccupation. But as soon as I've bashed this one in, I will go over and help my colleague. He looks as though he is in need of help. Although a bit of nifty footwork there from the wizard, I can't help but notice. So let's have our barbarian do the attack. 3 dice. Let's see how we go. So we have 1 hit. So maybe that's enough. The monster defends with 2. The orc does not get a black shield. So the orc is dead. At least that is done. The barbarian shouts in triumph. Adulation roll. 1d6. What's he going to say? He says he wipes blood from his blade. Barely a warm-up. So yes, we've heard that one before, barbarian. However, I don't know how many kills he's had. I think he's had, it must be about 3 or 4 now. He's doing pretty well. So he has a movement, and I suppose what he could do is he could move on further into that room. However, I think what he needs to do is he needs to take his priority is to help the wizard. So what he does is he says, right, okay, I'm going to move over here, and I'm going to be the bigger threat for this orc. So when it comes to the orc, he's going to at least have a couple of choices, and hopefully he goes for me, because I don't want my wizard friend to be to attract any more attention from this this rascal. So let's move on to our dwarf. Now we were faced with the prospect of being able to search for treasure. So that's what I'm going to say the dwarf does. And the dwarf says, right, okay, I'm going to open this chest. We've searched the room for traps. There's nothing in this cupboard. However, let's find out what's in the chest. So the Morcar player says, okay, I can reveal that in this chest, this treasure chest contains a potion of healing, which will restore up to 4 lost body points. So we go, yes, that's very useful. And 50 gold coins. So this gold goes on to the dwarfs. Put this on the back of the dwarfs sheet. So there's a potion of healing. A potion of healing. And 50 gold pieces. So dwarf goes, yes, that is what I'm being after. The chink of gold in my pocket. I am happy now. And I also have a potion of healing, which we can use as a team resource. So the dwarf thinks, okay, I have finished my turn. Well, no, I haven't finished my turn. I have still got my move I can do. So let's see how far I can move. I can move 7, and by the way, we just changed that to a black pawn to say that we have. I'll just put that down there. So we've tested everything. So he's got a 7, and he's thinking, well, okay, we haven't really checked to see what's in that room. Should I move over to that door? Yes, I think what I'll do, I'll start checking for traps. Am I going to open it? Well, ordinarily I won't. I think I'm not going to have any combat potential left. So what I'll do is I think I'll just leave it closed just now, and wait till next turn when I will be able to open it and go through. And the elf says, I think that's a good idea too. Although what I could do is I could maybe go through. Yeah, maybe that's what I could do. Now this room has been fully searched. And the dwarf says, okay, right, go for it. So let's get the elf. He says the door is okay because I've checked it for traps. There's nothing on it. So the elf says, right, I've got 7. Let me move up. And 1, 2, 3, 4. I will open the door. So I have to get an open door thing. Just bear with me a second. Now this is one of the things about HeroQuest is you start running out of certain items. I've got more closed doors than open doors, so I just do a quick open door here. Stick that on. Good, that's that done. So the elf says, "Oh right, okay, it's an empty room. It looks as though there has been a sign of a scuffle, and I think I can hear something." So we got 7 and he was over here, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And he says, all right, okay, I'm in the room by myself, however the dwarf's watching me. I should really search for traps first, although I am tempted, because we do know that the elf likes a bit of, he likes treasure. He likes searching for treasure first. So the elf, observant quick scan, would prefer treasure first instead of traps. So let's roll for his. If he gets a 1, he will roll for treasure. He will look for treasure, so he doesn't. So he looks for traps. So we check for traps, and there are no traps. So we put a little blue token in. And he says, dwarf, there's no traps in here. Everything's fine. It all checks out. It's all ready for you to grab all that treasure next time. Yeah, bit of a shame. So that's the end of our turn. So I do a very careful search of the board this time as the Morcar player to definitely make sure that there's definitely no orcs, and there is only one, which is the one that's pinned in by our 2 characters. So the orc has a bit of an issue because it is penned in. It is facing 2 opponents, one that has recently tried to attack and missed, which was the wizard, and then this very large burly barbarian coming down on it. Which would it say would be the greater threat? Now it's probably going to be the barbarian. So I think what it's going to do is it's going to divert its attention from the wizard. And it is going to attack the barbarian. However, it's not a slam dunk. I will say there is a chance. So 1 to 4, it does the barbarian, and a 5 to 6, it sticks with the wizard. So it decides to stick with the wizard. So we've got 3 dice against the wizard. Oh my goodness, look at that. 3 skulls. So wizard defends with 2. What is the wizard's hit points, by the way? The wizards have only got 4 body. Oh no! So the wizard is really looking in a bit of trouble here. Oh, no, a skull and a black shield. No! 3 points of damage against the wizard. It really chops him with its, I don't know what it is, like a scimitar or something. It's a big cleaver. But certainly gave Gelric a bit of a chop there. He's down to 1. So he's definitely going to need a bit of... I think that potion is really going to come in useful, because we don't really have any other healing, because we've used it all up. So that was quite a thing. The orc can't move because he's penned in. He's really just got to wait his fate. So we move on to the next turn. And it is the wizard, and the wizard is really smarting, and he thinks, all right, I'm gonna have to try to disengage and just leave this to the barbarian, and that's his job really. I could use a spell against this monster. Let's see what's in my armory. I've got Fire of Wrath. I've got Sleep. Okay, so this spell will put one monster or player to sleep. They may try to defend. Yeah, why don't I use my sleep spell? Yeah, I'll do that. And if that doesn't work, what I'll do is I'll move away. Yeah, that's what I'll do. So he says, right, I'm going to cast my sleep spell. So he goes, add Somnum, Sleepy Buys, Orc. Let's see if you can nod off. So they may try to defend themselves by rolling 1 die per mind point. Now I'm sure the orcs have only got a mind. They've got a mind of 2. And if they manage to roll a shield, they are unaffected. So let's roll 2 dice. So if they manage to roll a shield, they're unaffected. Once put to sleep, they must roll a 6 at the start of their turn before they can move again. Okay. So this is only a temporary thing. So they did, yeah. So he has defended himself. He has not fallen asleep after all that. This is quite a strong orc. It's not only dishing out a lot of damage, it is resistant to sleep. So I would say our wizard has got nothing else to do except try to disengage. So he's got a 9. So what he'll do is he'll move 1, 2, 3. Oh, and then he suddenly sees the elf and he goes, oh, right, so we can have a conversation. And he says, look, there's an orc in here. It's just chopped me and I've only got 1 hit point of damage left. Also, I've used up my spell, and also I have, what have you got your healing spell that you can use on me, elf? And the elf says, actually, I've used that up myself. However, fortunate you do mention this. We do have a potion that we can give you. The dwarf has got that. So why don't you go into this room here, and he will give it to you. So we'll put the wizard here. He'll just be standing, and in fact, he'll have a quick look at this table to make sure there's nothing arcane on it, any arcane lore, and he's just waiting for the dwarf to pass us something. And I think I have a rule. Just trying to remember my rule for passing items between characters. Passing items. Hero may pass 1 item or card to another hero in a space adjacent to them at no action cost. Okay, so if so let's say the elf says to the dwarf, to the wizard, if you go up to the dwarf, he's got a potion, so that's what he'll do. Instead of actually looking at the table, he'll face, so he can get that passed to him next turn, and he can take it. That's on the basis that the dwarf gives it to him, which I'm sure he will. So that's the wizard's turn, but not very successful. It hasn't put this orc to sleep. However, he does have access to some healing. We have got the barbarian's turn, and the barbarian is decided, right, this orc is just too much of a menace. We're going to have to get rid of it. Let's see if I can do the business and dispatch it. 3, look at that. I have done it. There's no way it can come back from that, because the maximum it can do is defend with 2. We could always see what type of blow, whether it completely eliminates. Well, it does defend it by 1, so it reduces it by 2, but 2 is more than enough to get rid of it. the dwarf, the barbarian shouts in triumph. His shout comprises of, they never stood a chance against true strength. Yes, that is so barbarian. That's so true. We do have a movement left, which is, yeah. So what is the barbarian going to do? Is he just going to start charging away? Maybe he hears these other characters in here. So let's just have him come over here and we'll have a consultation. And he goes, what? Oh, where did you lot come from? Yeah, we've been out adventuring on our own, doing all sorts of stuff. What have you been up to? Fill us in, dwarf and elf. So we can have a bit of a confab, and we'll say, well, we've been doing this, we've been exploring this area, and we haven't really found anything apart from this potion. Also, have you found anything? And we'll say no. Well, what area have we not been able to come across? And the barbarian said, well, funny you should say that. There was a door that was being guarded by a goblin. And also there is the passage that we saw right at the start of our expedition. And no one's been down that yet. I think the wizard has checked it for traps and secret doors. And he said, yeah, I don't know. I haven't been down to the bottom of it, so I don't know. You know, it seemed to turn a corner, so I haven't been down into that passage. And they think, well, okay, let's maybe have a bit of a decision. We're going to go to where the door is, or are we going to go? So this would be go along this passage and explore this part, or go back to where we started and go down here. So we'll have 1 to 3. It's this one. And 4 to 6. So this is the overall party strategy. So we are going to go down this way. So we're really just needing a movement that will get us that way. So the dwarf says, right, okay, wizard, I'll give you my healing potion. We'll just get rid of that, strike it out. So the potion of healing is given to the wizard at no cost, because he is next to him. The wizard goes back up to 4 again. So we've got up to 4 on our thing. And the dwarf can move. So dwarf says, right, has anybody checked this for treasure? this room? And they say, well, actually not. And he says, well, if I get a very low roll, yeah. Does anybody mind if I just have a quick sniff around, just see what I can see? So can I just squeeze in here, elf? And I'll just have a wee look for treasure while we're here. And they go, okay, if you can't resist it, dwarf. So treasure hoard. Oh, luck is with you. A small treasure chest you find, hidden under an old fir, contains 100 gold coins. Record the money on the back of your character sheet and return this card to the treasure pile. So this goes into the discard. This gets discarded, and we get 100 gold pieces for the dwarf. So he is minted. He is delighted. He says, that's a hoard. I like it. That was worth it for giving up a potion. That was worth it. So that's the dwarf done his turn, and the elf saying, well, there's nothing left for me to do in this room, because what we do is we put a little black pawn on. What I'll do is I'll aim to get back through here and down into this as fast as possible. So I got a 6, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it says, and actually, has anybody searched this for anything? You know, I quite fancy searching this for treasure myself. They say, well, you should really search for traps first. And he said, okay, right. Right, I'll roll. If I get a 1, I can do my own thing. So he doesn't. So he searches for traps, and surprise, surprise, there's none there. And he thinks that's a bit of a shame. So we're at the end of our turn. It's the Morcar turn, so I will do a very, very careful search of the board. I do not see any monsters. There's no orcs hiding anywhere. There's none behind here. No, none. So what we do is we get another skull. So we're only one away from drawing a card and cashing them in. And then, yeah, there is a bit of a timer that goes down. We have to roll the dice every turn to see whether it gets activated or not. But let's carry on. We've got the dwarf, we've got the wizard. So the wizard says, right, okay, let's see if I can get my skates on, get back to there. So 7, and they're saying, well, this is probably the fastest way to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can't go through there. I can't go beyond. So that's the wizard's turn. And he says, well, has anybody searched this for treasure? Maybe there's some arcane lore in here. So give it a shot. Jewels, you find a small wooden box. The box is plain and old, but within it is lined with velvet and contains 50 gold coins worth of jewels. Record the money on the back of your character sheet. So he goes, yes, that is terrific. Rich pickings. So we may as well cash in. I've got my gem and I've got my jewels. So the wizard's got 100 gold pieces worth of stuff. He's quite happy. Thinks, yes, I can get maybe a nice staff from that equipment shop. So that's the end of his turn. We're going to move on to the barbarian, who is itching for action. He says, I don't know, all this standing around. Maybe a bit of searching for treasure is a good thing, but none of this trap nonsense. Oh yeah, by the way, I'll just put a black pawn on there to make sure that we know what we've done. 6, so that's not a great move, but here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and he's going to go back down this way. And he says, oh, I may as well, while I'm here, I may as well search this for traps, and there's nothing. So we put a little thing there. So we're on to the dwarf. Dwarf says, right, everything's searched here. We could go back to this room here, but I think that's going to be too much of a diversion. And we've really got to get on, crack on, try to find Sir Ragnar. Anything could be happening to him. 8. So the dwarf goes, yes, I can move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pushes his way past the barbarian. I'm going in front. And then we've got our elf. Elf gets its skates on. Well, maybe not. It's only got a 3. So 1, 2. So we've really got to go in behind here. So that's the end of that turn. And again, no monsters on the table. So we're up to 5. So that actually triggers. So what we do is we get rid of all them. And we can draw a treasure card. However, there is a timer on that, and I'll just need to reconsult my rules just to see exactly. The invocation, a trap and a wandering monster is applied immediately against a randomly selected hero. The invocation will happen with a check each player turn with a 1 on a d6 on the first, 2 for the second, thereafter. So what we're going to do is come the first player, which is the wizard, if we get a 1 and a 6, we have a draw. When it comes to the barbarian, it's a 2 and a 6, and thereafter. So as long as I keep remembering that, that is now in play. So we are back to our wizard character, and what we'll do is we'll roll this first, the invocation of the skulls. No, so that's okay. We roll for the wizard's move. The wizard has a 9. And does the wizard want to go helter-skelter ahead? I suppose he is going to get lapped. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So he's down here. There's nothing else for him to do in that turn. We have to roll for the invocation in the barbarian turn. So that's a 1 or a 2. So no. So we go up to 3 next turn. And the barbarian, he gets a 7. So he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he's tearing around the corner here. The invocation of the skulls for the dwarf, 1 to 3. Nope. So nothing happening yet. So let's see. 9 for the dwarf. It's quite a fast dwarf, this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So he goes down there. And finally for the elf, this is the 1 to 4 invocation. Yes. So what we do is we draw a treasure card. And let's see what the result is. Gold. So because we've drawn this treasure card, what we do is we just discard it. And it gets taken out of the pile. So what's happened is that this pile is getting smaller because we're taking treasure out. We're not taking any wandering monsters or traps out. What we're doing is we're putting them back in and reshuffling. So there's going to be more of a proportion of wandering monsters and traps in this treasure deck, which makes it far more dangerous. So let's see what our elf does. See how far he gets. He gets a 10, which is great. So, oh, just a bit of earthquake in the dungeon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So he moves down there. So that's a good roll. Yeah, we get to the end of our turn again, and yeah, there's no monsters again. So the Morcar player says, right, okay, what I can do is I can take this process starts again, the clock. I'll take one of my skulls. We're back to the wizard. So the wizard goes, right, where is this Sir Ragnar? We've been going around and round and round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're coming down here. Barbarian, let me at him. 5. It's not that fast. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll have to go here because we can't go diagonally. We've got the dwarf. He does 5, so he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll do him across here to 5. And then the Morcar player says, right, you've gone round the corner. What you see is, surprise, surprise, it is a door. And also, there is one of these things, which I have not got. Actually, I'll just substitute this one out just now, as that I've lost one of my blocks. But I don't actually have my little bag. Oh, here we go. Yes, here we go. I did have my bag. There is a block, there is a wall here, and a door here. So that's as far as the dwarf goes, and he says, look, there's a door around here. Anybody want to give it a shot? And the elf says, wait for me, I'm coming. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we're all primed and ready to go. We're eager to see what's through this door. So our first character to come up will be the wizard. And the wizard is probably not the best place to do anything. I think what he's going to do is he's got a 4. So he'll go 1, 2, 3, and he'll just stand here. And he says, what I can do is I can fire any spells in if one of you guys go through the door ahead of me. And they say, yep, we'll do that. Barbarian says, let me at it. This is what all part of our strategy, the setup, where basically you have the door ready, and I'm just going to go for it. So 8, yes. So 1, 2, 3, bang, it goes through. I have to get another open door for this one. Take that one out. Bang. So that was 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the Morcar player says, okay, there is an empty room, but there is a door here. Okay, so the barbarian says, right, I will move my remaining 2 up to here. I am going to, what am I going to do? Am I going to search this this place. I might really prefer to have search for treasure, because when the barbarian does this, yeah, he's eager for treasure. He's not interested in traps at all. I would say that he will on a 1 to 2, he will follow his natural instinct and search for treasure rather than search for traps. So he does actually follow the protocol. He says, right, okay, I've forced myself, I've held my nose, I've searched for traps, and there's no traps in this room. And I go, yes, good barbarian. You are learning how to act as a team player. And he says, yeah, it's not always going to be consistently applied, I promise you. So we're up to the dwarf. The dwarf says, right, make way. Dwarf coming through. Dwarf gets a 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And what he will do, he says, right, okay, I have checked this for traps. I will open it. So that is yet another open door we have to put in. I still got 1 point of movement left, remember? And they say, right, okay, what's in here is, you have got a table. In fact, I'll just have to get my table out. You've got a table here. You've also got, there's no exits in this room. However, there are 2 orcs, and one is standing here, and one is standing here. And they say, hello boys. We've still got one we can do. So, and the dwarf he's got a bit of he's still got a swing in him. So he could just reach this. So let's find out what these orcs say, just to see whether they completely incite the dwarf into a wild charge. We'll get our dice out. They do, don't trip. We wouldn't want to make things too easy for you or us. Ha ha ha. Yeah, that's funny. I think the dwarf is, he is not impressed with that quip at all. He says, right, okay, I've opened this door. I am just going to launch myself at you. We're running out of time. Where is this Sir Ragnar? Where are you holding him? Tell us, or I will chop you in half, matey. So we've got the dwarf. He attacks with 2. Is he going to chop this orc in 2? That is the question. 2 skulls, yes. The orc is shivering. The orc is shaking. The orc dies. The orc is sliced in 2. We have to put up with what the dwarf has got to say. He's probably going to say, as long as he doesn't spit this time, he does. Right then, who's got the ale? Yes, we like that. That's a good one. Yes. So he's exultant. We've done the dwarf. We're on to the elf. And the elf says, right, leave some for me, dwarf. I want some action. I get a 9, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh, I'm just short of you. I am eager to be in this room. I will give you moral support, dwarf, even though I am. Maybe what I'll do is I won't go quite as far. I might just go to your side here, so that we form a line of defense. That's the best idea, isn't it? Yeah, I'm not that brave. So the end of the character's turn. We're into the Morker turn. We do have a monster in play. We've got this orc. So I would say that he's more than likely to go for the dwarf as being the one that has just chopped his colleague in 2, rather than the elf who's just come in. But there's always a chance, so let's go for 1 to 4. He goes for the dwarf. he does. So what he does is he strides forward, gets his cleaver, gives it a good swing. 3 dice against our dwarf. What's he going to do? Is the dwarf going to be chopped? So he does two dice of damage. A dwarf can only defend with 2. So we're looking for 2 shields for the dwarf, or else he's got damage. He gets 1, so we take 1 point of damage off the dwarf. We have got, we're down to 5. So that's good. Down to 5 on the dwarf. It could have been worse. That is the end of the Morcar player turn. He doesn't have any other monsters. He doesn't, because we've got a monster, we can't take a skull. We move on to the wizard's turn. So the wizards think, right, okay, I think I need to get into the action. I get a 12. That's all right. So I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I'll wait here. I think I will move out to the side, and what I'll do in line of sight, I am going to cast a spell on this creature. Let's see what I can do. Can I do courage? This spell may be cast on any one player. That player may then throw 2 extra combat dice the next time he attacks. He says, right, dwarf, I'm going to give you courage, as if you need it, but this is going to give you extra combat dice next time. Yeah, that's what I will do. I will give you courage, use up some of my spells, and it goes, yes. The dwarf says, I really feel quite eager. Thank you, wizard. And the wizard said, that is no problem. And then the barbarian, he comes through. He's got 10. And he goes 1, 2, 3, 4. And he says, well, I don't think I need courage. I think I can just whack you by myself. And the dwarf's going, what is going on here? Come on, barbarian. I'm supposed to be using my spell. And he only gets 1, the barbarian. So there is a chance that this orc can defend itself. It doesn't. So the barbarian steals the dwarf's thunder. And I think this only happens. The player may then throw 2 extra combat dice the next time he attacks. Right. So it's in the bank. So the dwarf says, yes, I'm going to be walking around this place feeling very courageous. It hasn't just got an effect of 1 round. And the barbarian says, yeah, I knew that. That's why I wasn't going to steal your thunder. You've still got it in you, dwarf. Don't worry. However, I do get an opportunity to howl a bit with a bit of adulation. That's what us barbarians are all about. Let's see if I can do something to match what you did, dwarf. So I'm doing the white blood from Blade. I don't think he's done the warm up a few times. So let's do another one. 6. They never stood a chance against true strength. Yeah, we're going, yeah. Have you got anything different? And he thinks, well, I'm going to have to think up something new for next adventure, but that'll have to be sufficient for now. Okay, so that's the barbarian's turn. He's moved, he's attacked, he was successful. We move on to the dwarf, who's now bristling with combat courage. He is ready, and he thinks, okay, what is the protocol? I tell you what, I will do the good thing. I will look for traps first. And they go, ooh, something you find in the room. It is not. There are no traps. However, there is a secret door, and the secret door is just behind where the wizard is. And we go, whoa, that is interesting. So the dwarf says, okay, what I'm going to do is I am just going to go up and try this secret door and go through. Go help yourself. So 4. So he moves up. 1, 2. He says, excuse me, wizard. And he goes through. And he's in a room, and the Morcar player says, right, you've just walked straight into, but first I'll put a door in, because there's a door here. that needs to be placed. So I'll stick that here. There is one of these things. It's a femur. It's an enormous thing with this great big tail lashing away. And the dwarf goes, whoa, what on earth is that? I just done my turn. All I've done is move. So, hey, I've got a chance to do an attack and I get 2 extra combat dice. Wow, this is amazing. So I have 2, but I'm going to have 4 against this great big abomination, this femur. Wow, look at that. Take that, you great big thing, and whatever you are. Yes, here it is, a femur. It defends with 3, it attacks with 3. So theoretically, it could get 3 dark shields. Let's see what it does. It gets 1, but no, it's basically it's there. It goes, what is this? I've been waiting here for you. Boom, and it's taken completely out of action by the dwarf with his courage spell coming into effect. So that was really quite fortunate. I think that's definitely worthwhile, worth a dwarf adulation for that. That is quite a worthy opponent. He's not going to do the spitting again. We're not going to have any more spitting. For short work for a short hero. Yes, and you were quite short in comparison. Wow, what a way for the femur to go. So that's the dwarf's turn over, and they say it's what was in there, dwarf, and he says, this great big brute of a creature. You'll see it when you come in. The elf says, right, I think we're getting close. I think we must be getting close. Let's get cracking. So I can't, I'm gonna move 3. So that's 1, 2, I can't even get through. So I'll just come here. So that's the end of our turn. There are no monsters on the table. I can't see any. So that means we get another pawn. We're back to the wizard. And the wizard says, right, I don't ordinarily open doors. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stand in this room. So if we rolled his movement dice, yeah, he does a 7. So he's just going to move over here, and he says, well, I tell you what, if there is something in there, I can zap it with my magic. But let's get the barbarian in to see what is in here. So the barbarian says, right, I will comply. He goes 1, 2, 3, opens the door. We have one of these empty door things. And we do actually find a cell. It is a cell, and it contains a disheveled looking knight. Unfortunately, I've got to use the recommended Sir Ragnar. He's going, whoa, and he says, who the blazes are you? And we say, and the barbarian says, it is me, the barbarian. We are here. I am leading a team to rescue you. Pray come with us. And he goes, right, I will. Release me from these bonds. They chafe on my skin. So when Sir Ragnar, so this is on finding Sir Ragnar, the Morcar player says, when Sir Ragnar is found, an alarm sounds. Place all remaining monsters, doors and furniture on the board. All doors are now open. Sir Ragnar should be moved by the player who opened the door. When the player takes his turn, he also rolls 1 die to move Sir Ragnar. He must be moved back to the starting tile to escape. Sir Ragnar may not attack, but if he is attacked, he may roll 2 dice for defense. Sir Ragnar has 2 body points left. Use the evil sorcerer figure to represent Sir Ragnar. Poor old Sir Ragnar. He's probably been tortured. He's probably not been eating very well. He is in a sorry state. But he's still got his wit and his charm. The rescue party has succeeded for now. So the alarm's going, it's going red alert, red alert. And what I have to do is I have to place all the monsters on the table. So I see that I am going quite a bit over time. What we will do, we will mop up this quest in the next episode, and we'll probably be able to get a chance to start the following quest, and also go to town and maybe spend some money on equipment, and also potentially get our reward. This is all on the basis that we do escape. I have to place the remaining monsters. I don't think there's too much left to place. I think we're more or less there. But who knows? There might be things that we can discern on the board. Yes, I think we've reached the end of this particular session. So I just want to say thank you very much for joining me on this. I've really enjoyed going through this this dungeon. To me, I can probably reflect, having done. This is now my third full episode of doing an actual quest using the HeroQuest rules and the board, and I have got an awful lot of enjoyment out of it. I almost feel like I am exploring it myself, even though I know what is on the map, because my characters are just doing their own thing. It's like they are living, breathing individuals, and they have their own mind, and that's what's making it quite dynamic for me. It's almost like herding cats a wee bit, and and I'm not even herding them. They're almost like making informed decisions based on their view. If they had decided to come down this corridor at the start, they would have found Sir Ragnar immediately, and they wouldn't have done all this dungeon stuff over here. That was really just down to basically an informed choice from them, where they thought, and the fact that they probably maybe followed their nose a bit, and these goblins were placed strategically to kind of lure them to other places that wouldn't be ordinarily inviting. That is part of, I suppose, the overall dungeon design. But yeah, I've really enjoyed the solo process on this, and I really feel I've maximized my solo experience, and hopefully you feel that you've got that as contributors through watching. And you've got the excitement. And I do apologize for the few mistakes I made in the previous one. I don't think I've made any errors in this one, but I'm quite happy for people to point these out, because I want to try to get through each episode faithfully, and not make any particular errors. And the worst thing that you can do is portray something on YouTube as a kind of playthrough, and be making mistakes. I think that was really just down to a quick oversight and the fact that I was getting a bit carried away with things, and getting a bit excited. But yeah, okay. So just once again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.